Oh man, I feel so bad for billionaires that get blackmailed because of their hedonism and their sex addictions. I really feel bad, like because I used to
You
be
know what
like
I
that.
really
So
feel bad for are the ones that get away with it, which
yeah,
seems to be unanimous.
dude, I saw
Hey,
that.
as
We
we're
have the
getting
files
started,
right. By the way, we went from we have the files right here to there's no files. I've never seen a 100 to 0 faster in my entire life.
brother, I've
Crazy
got it.
zero,
I've got
100
the
to
list
0.
on my desk. The videos are gruesome. It's gonna shake the world. To it's a
There's
hoax.
nothing.
You're all conspiracy theorists, and go back to what you were doing.
It's
And they'll go
insane, dude.
back to what they were doing.
That's the unfortunate part is this is so huge. It is so like woven and sewn in and stitched into the system that even if you unstitch it and the seams are open and you see everything and you take a look and there's concrete evidence, you're gonna get away with it.
Brother, no, it's bigger than that.
Way bigger.
It's the system. The
Yes. The whole
system
system. Yeah.
is
It's true.
entirely compromised. You didn't catch Jeffrey Epstein. You caught a finger of the bigger beast, the system in its entirety.
Yes.
We just refuse to believe the person that wears the Jeffrey mask is the government because
Yeah.
we just so blindly want to just give them everything for safety and ignorance. Dude, we've been popping off on Twitter today. I tweeted, look at it. First off, see this picture of Jeffrey Epstein holding a child on his private jet.
I saw
Insane.
that. Dude, I saw that picture. Nuts. I saw it this morning.
How do you just skate past that?
I'm
I don't
like,
know. I'm asking you, the viewer, how do you just skate past that? Today marks the day where we are not allowed to call it a justice system anymore. Today being July 7th is the day that Silent and I are recording this. This is going to come out in a couple weeks, though. That being because this is when they officially declared there's nothing here. So again, today marks that day where we're not allowed to call it a justice system anymore. Now we should call it justice theater, the control apparatus, the shield of power, the gavel cartel, the compliance machine, legalism without liberty, governance by illusion, the facade of fairness, the justice industrial complex, due process TM, trademarked, the court of public manipulation. But do not call it a justice system because it does not seek truth and justice. If the system itself can be the corrupt actors and protect itself, that's where we're at. That's where this begins and starts. Starts and ends, I mean. Like, it's just, it started there and ended there. They made a Netflix and a Hulu documentary just to be like, yeah, dude was a creep. And yeah, you caught it. The conspiracy theorists were right. And then they're like, oh my God, how did we get away with radio silence for so long? You would have thought millions of babies being trafficked en masse would be enough to compel people to find minor interest. But no, no, not here. And so they were like, wow, we're getting away with so much radio silence. We can straight up just tell them to their face, no,
yeah.
no. And they'll take it. That's where we're at. They're taking it. They're taking it. We thought they'd storm the streets. Nope. We give them bricks and they throw them at each other. It's fantastic.
What boggled my mind the most out of that Netflix documentary, by the way, is how he was able to siphon $900 million from the one of the co-founders of Victoria's Secret. You remember that part in the documentary? I don't know if you
First
remember
off,
that part.
Les Wexner, Ohioan, the champions, the Ohio State University is built on the backs of sold babies for deliciousness. Just an appetite that you'll never understand. It's like eating bald eagle. But what's crazy, dude, is you bring up it. I want to direct people to the correct one. There's so many documentaries. The one I'm specifically going to acknowledge is the Hulu documentary. That was the first one. That was the big one.
Yeah, that was
This, I
that
think,
was
in the
the
series of summer podcasts are going to come out, I think will be the one that I acknowledge Jeffrey Epstein, because truth be told, it'll be a perfect piece to our dialogue coming up later, but the algorithms have me dancing. I am avoiding the terms and topics to just try to get a little bit of Tinder. So then I
yeah,
can build from there. But you know
yeah.
what? Not this episode. We're going to talk about it. So the one piece of the documentary that should never be forgotten, I highlighted it in 2020, probably put us in the shadow ban, and this is a perfect time to readdress it and bring it to the forefront. There is a courtroom full of 16-year-olds, children, younger, and they're all there in the courtroom prepared to testify against Jeffrey Epstein. Prosecutor in Florida at the time was Alexander Acosta. Okay. Jeffrey Epstein walks in the courtroom straight to the front of the room by the
Oh yeah,
judge,
I saw that clip.
signs
I
a
saw that
thing,
clip.
walks right out. Everybody's looking at each other like, what just happened? And he walks right out the building, and they go, oh yeah, he took a plea deal. It's all over. Now in Ohio, there's like victim rights. You wouldn't be able to do that. You'd have to have input from the victim. That's why Ohio's
Yeah,
superior, but that's just, neither here nor
right.
there.
And that's
But
really good to hear, by the way. Like, I'm very glad to hear that the states are amending and kind of like closing this loophole,
yeah,
if you will.
admittedly,
You
that
know,
was something that came about, like, I think 2022,
because this is a
2023. We
massive
really hit it.
loophole, right? It basically means if you're rich, you can get away with anything
So,
legally. Too.
dude, wait, hold on. You know what I'm really good with? If I had one here, I'd prove. Oh, I could get one. Maybe later in the episode. Reason to stick around. I could show you talent show. I can tie cherry stems with my tongue instantly.
Oh, you
Like
could do that? Yeah. Okay, that's
instantly.
impressive. That's impressive.
Eyes closed. So why was I going to bring that up? Oh my god. So cherry on top. Put it in my tongue. Here's the crowning jewel to this point. Alexander Acosta now goes down in history as giving the most absurd plea deal of all time. Of all time.
Mm.
It didn't just give Jeffrey Epstein, the defendant, immunity, but it also gave all co-conspirators immunity in this case. So that means they couldn't retry Ghislaine or the rest of the network in this case. So they would have to find a whole new slew of victims willing to come forward, also corroborated by evidence. It was a whole thing. So again, immunity, not just for him, but for all co-conspirators. Doubling down on the final crowning jewel. In 2016, Donald Trump becomes president. He appoints Alexander Acosta into his cabinet. And
Crazy.
you want to know how he dupes us? He dupes us by going, well, I didn't get how this stuff worked, man. I got duped. I didn't pick these people. And now, with the perspective of time, what does a second term show us? They're all fingers to the same hand playing a different part in the grand play. Shakespeare told you at the dawn of time, the world is their stage.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, they are playing us like a fiddle.
It's true.
Every tweet I put out today is everybody's upset, nobody's doing nothing. Goes to show you how bullshit like a trans or BLM protest is. Because when shit really matters, we do nothing.
Yeah, it's true.
Finger warrior, I just go to my Twitter. Blah, 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 I'm just pissed. Can you believe what they did to a child? And I'm just letting it happen.
See, this is something I don't understand about Americans is that there's a Second Amendment, right?
That's what it's for.
It gives you exactly what you need to do what you need to do.
I worry about ending up on a list today for how many tweets said the Second Amendment. You talk a big game.
Yeah, it's like, hey, that your gun safe is collecting dust. You have 13 pieces in there that you only use once a year when you go to the range. What are you waiting for?
But it's not quail season. It's like, you mother.
Yeah. And hey, I will say, when I was in LA, I'm not gonna lie, I was expecting that to happen because it was getting like hot. It was getting hot. The police there were literally shooting at people protesting. Just watch it. It's on my kick. You can see it live. I was there. Just aiming at people and just whoop. Oh,
That's
other
crazy,
side. Whoop. Oh. And these people are not doing anything. They're just protesting. They're just standing there and shouting like stuff. And
dude.
that to me, like it opened my eyes so much to like this whole thing is just a way for the police to like increase their budget, to spend more money. They have certain amount of deals with all the military industrial complex for all the equipment and all the riot gear and all the militarization of the police. And they wait for events like these to happen where people just gather and they start protesting. And then they're like, hey, time for the rubber bullets. And just
Listen, man,
blindly
I
fire. And
I
it's
didn't like the political strategy of an entire political party being turning the border into a sieve so we could get illegal people to tip the scales of our elections.
mm,
That's anti-democratic and gut-wrenching.
for
So here's
sure.
what's sad is um, they created a problem over here so you'd be willing to make true concessions to solve that problem. That way you don't see the real problem that I'm whacking you with over here, which is like the the big beautiful bill. Again, this is a guy that voted for Trump 3 times. I very much,
Wait, three
you know,
times?
3 times in a row. 2 times severely begrudgingly. But the first time, boy, was I excited. I would be lying if I didn't say first time, cartwheels to the polls.
Wait, hold on. You have to explain the three times to me, because
First
that's
time was
45 and 47,
2016.
right?
Yeah. And he
Right, first time.
lost.
Right,
I still voted for the loser. I didn't
right,
vote for Biden.
right.
So it was the first time when he ran against Hillary.
Hmm.
And I got to tell you, that was probably the most exciting night of my life.
Yeah, when he won, yeah,
Oh my
2016, yeah,
gosh.
yeah,
What a time to be alive. Second time, I wanted to give my vote to anybody
right.
but a Democrat. And boy, I wanted to give it to Tulsi at the time, the Democrat
Mm,
nominee. They cheated again.
yeah,
And then
we
this
talked about
third
that where they
time, it
screwed Bernie.
was
Yeah,
it was do or die, dude. Here's what's funny. It's your fingers are the same hand. I voted for this guy instead of this guy. It's the same
wait,
thing.
right, and Trump ran three times. I thought he only ran in 16 and he ran in 20.
No, he lost to Biden. And
Oh yeah,
remember,
that's right.
everybody
Oh,
hates
that's
him
right. He
because
did. He did. I totally forgot that when he lost to Biden, he technically won, but he
remember
lost. Yeah,
January. Well, even if he
yeah.
didn't win, I still voted for him. That's what I'm saying. That's
Right, right,
3
right, right.
elections in a row.
That's three elections. Yeah.
You
Okay.
you
Sorry.
you
My
come up
my,
with a
my
losing number.
brain is like still mush. I
Dude,
apologize. I'm
you've
not
been
like
on. You've been
I'm not
on
sharp.
for 20 hours a day, which
Yeah.
we're gonna
Yeah.
get to the streaming life.
Yeah.
But again, it's still I get it. Fingers are the same hand.
Yeah.
I still would have done this vote 10 times over because I
Yeah.
think the social impact was necessary. So again, being someone that needs to concede, I made that mistake. I voted for the dude 3 times. Okay?
Yeah.
That still doesn't take away from I probably would have done that again every time because
Mm.
that's how pigeonholed we are. But at some
Yep.
point, I need to take the leap, put my money where my mouth is, and try to make a point. You know, Elon Musk is wasting everybody's time with the American Party, and that's only going
Yeah.
to dilute the Libertarian
That's not
Party,
gonna do
which
anything. Exactly. It's literally not gonna accomplish anything
any
whatsoever.
and just meme and make a joke of something that really needs to be taken serious.
Hmm.
Which is we need more political parties that are taken serious. Like if you could vote for somebody that wasn't Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump, you would have, which
Yeah.
is why they are limiting your ability to
Right.
have that option.
Because think
So
about it, like the 300 plus million Americans. You really think those two are our best options? Come on.
they
Let's be
know
real
they're
here for 10 seconds. We all know they're not.
well. So again, when you start looking at the reality of everything, look at every conservative over 4th of July weekend. I go, tell me one thing that's beautiful about this bill. you're laughing at liberal tears. What's one beautiful thing about this bill? There isn't one. It's all trickle down economics. Well, if I throw the money over here at my big buddy friend, he'll buy a yacht, and that yacht's going to trickle down to you selling corn. Guess what? I'm not in the boat selling business. Looks like we got a problem.
Yeah, trickle down economics don't work. We all know that. That's been
It works.
proven.
Not for you.
Not for you, exactly. Not if you. Thank you. Yes, I was about to say it works only if you are top 10 or top 1% earner. And what was the figure last year? 650K, right? To be a top 1% earner in America, 2024, right? 650K or something like that. And I'm just like, ooh,
No big deal.
yeah, just 650K, no problem. and you too could also get some crumbs to buy your new yacht.
Oh, what an interesting time. And you know what? It gives us a perfect platform to just sit back and chat about it, right? It'll save the world's problems.
It's true. One problem at a time, right?
That's right. That's right. You ready to get this episode started?
Let's do it.
So I love that term, think tank. Think tank. I mean, you know what a think tank is? Like, how's a think tank go, James?
Yeah, you know they got cancel culture nowadays. You gotta watch what you say. It's getting real scary out here.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't know if I can take the conversation here, but we might as well. It's the Rethink Tank. Looks like you had a little bit too much to think here in the Rethink Tank. Hey, what's going on, everybody? And thanks for joining us again. Today, I'm very excited to be unpacking something that's probably going to resonate with a lot of people of our generation and is going to become a forever increasingly important topic. So we're going to be throwing out a lot of modern philosophical questions as we try to dissect the overarching inquiry here, which is, are we free if we're always online? And if that's going to be what we're unpacking today, I have no better guest than someone who has made a professional living being an incredibly entertaining kick streamer for hours on a given day. So be sure to check him out because it's entertaining daily and you don't want to miss the excitement. But with that being said, let me bring in my guest today, and it's a Rethink Tank great and classic, SilentDestroyer. How you doing, my brother?
Hey, I'm doing great, bro. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Hey, I appreciate you joining me. As you know, I'm kind of flashing through my own streaming setup. I had to leave the studio to fit the vibe. You know, I've got my green screen whacking my fan in my office. It's a lovely setup.
You got to do what you got to do, right?
Let me ask you. Let's dive right into the meat. On its surface, you know, what are your initial reactions when kind of presented the question of like, are we free if we're always online? Whether that's addicted to TikTok and you got to at least get a couple hours, or, you know, in your free time when you're sitting there waiting for the elevator, you're always pulling for your phone, or your phone's dead, so it's charging, but you're realizing every time you're reaching for your empty pocket. Or it could be you're online all the time because you're a kick streamer and you're getting paid by the hour to be entertaining the folks at home. So initially, what are your kind of, immediate reactions to answering the question, are we free if we're always online?
The answer is no, you're not free because these apps own you. They all own you. All these apps are designed by people that are way smarter than you and I, that sit in rooms every single day and tweak algorithms to perfection to make sure that you spend at least 1 to 5 hours of your day on them. Now, I encourage most of you guys watching, if not all of you, do this massive favor for me. Open up your phone, go to the settings, go to the screen time, and see what apps take up most of your screen time. And I bet you almost everyone watching this, it'll be the social media apps. Your phone app is probably, or your texting app is probably like 30 minutes, 20 minutes. Your phone app is probably like an hour. The rest of the hours, all social media, pretty much.
Yeah.
And that seems to be the case for most people. That's why for me, when I made the choice to become a streamer, I was like, I'm either going to be the consumer or the producer. And nowadays you have to pick, you have to make a choice. Do you want to doom scroll and like consume other people's content, or do you want to become the content and create your own content? Now, of course, for a lot of people, the first option is much easier because a lot of us don't even have time to even think about becoming content creators. But then once you realize that through this day and age, there's so much crap content and bullshit content that when you're just genuine and real and authentic, you will rise to the top very fast. You really will, because the market right now lacks authenticity. There's a lot
Yeah.
of content, but a lot of it is fake and bullshit and has zero benefit to society.
That's the biggest shame is what brain rot succeeds versus, I mean, take it from someone who's trying to go through the endeavor of promoting inquiry, truth, talking, having uncomfortable conversations with different people. It makes it 10 times harder than if I just said like, watch me build birdhouses or tonk 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 or whatever that new thing is. It's like
Yeah.
you're either in the brain rot, there's a unearthed episode that is not going to find itself in this season where I interviewed a band that's a friend of the podcast. We've done plenty of work with them before, but dude, I've noticed like if you're not coming to my studio, like on my own show have become the guest at like your place. And so they did a great show, and I'll probably, if I ever get to the point where I have a following to do a Patreon, I'll release it there. But like it was a great show, but the podcast, I've never been more like perturbed by a podcast ever. And I'm sitting talking to the drummer who's like, the biggest social media following of the band. And for someone to like, dude, in terms of equipment, editing, creativity, the dude is scratching the surface to the amount of work. I mean, dude, when the internet doesn't work at the studio and I'm playing it off like, hey, I'm trying to look like a streamer just like the rest of you. No, internet didn't work. And I had to just take the necessaries, do all this chord math. Okay, the camera that's usually with this type of HDMI, how do I get it to a USB-C? This microphone, which should go to a soundboard, I've never once before used it as a USB like I am today. Instinct, you got to move quick. Bop, 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 silence waiting on me. Here's a dude sitting there that's like, I'm huge and I got a badass following. Cool. What's your thing? Oh, I do UFC style commentary over bottles on a string smashing into each other. It's like, you're brilliant. I'm a stupid me as I'm sitting here trying to compel people to learn about Kant's imperative. And he's like, look at, did the Jack Daniels bottle break the Smirnoff bottle? And then you're like, oh, but you should be proud of that. That's like, and I'm not trying to like downplay what other people are doing beyond like, look at what Mr. Beast is. The day Mr. Beast wants to do one thing I've really wanted to do, and maybe I shouldn't spill the beans here, don't steal my idea, but I want to do like junior rethinkers where like a 7th grader who wants to, I've got a whole thing on, I got a test tomorrow on clouds. Like, let me explain cumulus clouds, stratus, like all the different, like whatever it is, the parts of a cell, multiplication, like that is an untapped world. Mr. Beast could own it. He could own it. More money and more fun in just blowing up cars and, selling Feastables. So it's like the money isn't in growth. It's so much harder. Genuine, you could be genuine mukbanging, but nobody really wants you genuinely trying to open their mind and think about because look, what did we open the show with? Everything's uncomfortable. I don't want to think about it. Numb me.
Yeah. Numb me. That's it. That's all that it is. Exactly. Perfectly said. It's all numb me. That's all what this brain rot does. It all just numbs you. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. If that's how you want to choose to live your life, by all means, free will. You do what you want. It's a free world, free country.
True.
Consume whatever you want to consume. Just realize that these algorithms are choosing what you want to consume for most people. And most people have not really unplugged from these algorithms and are just believing everything that is served to them on these apps. And it's really dangerous. And I'll give you a very perfect example. When I was at the US-Canada border, everything that I was served before I traveled to the US was, oh, you're gonna be hung up upside down and you're gonna be questioned because you're Canadian, and they're gonna ask you how many hairs do you have on the back of your neck and when was the last time you shaved 2 of them, and that's what I was fed, right? But the reality is, hey, where are you going? Oh, Los Angeles? Okay. Where are you staying? Oh, Airbnb? Cool. How long are you staying? Oh, 1 week? Okay, cool. Here you go, sir. Here's your passport. Have a great day. Right? And so that like really opened my mind to, because before that, I really had built this like, oh my God, I'm so scared. These border agents are going to give me an extremely hard time because I've been seeing on the news and on Twitter, and I've been hearing all these stories and all these nightmarish experiences that people have been having about the border. Oh no, like why should I fly to the US now? It's a bad time to fly to the US because now Mr. Big Orange Man is the president, and I shouldn't go to the US. I should be boycotting the US because their president tried to claim our country as a sovereign entity and a 51st state. Oh no. And then when you actually go, it's like, yeah, okay, 3 questions. Cool, sir. Have a great day. Come right in. So this really, really opened my eyes so much to how much crap is pushed to you on social media. And by the way, I don't even spend that much time on social media. I literally spend like 15, 20 minutes a day. And then I'm live for like 8 to 12 hours. And then I'm working out and sleeping, editing my videos. That's it the rest of the day. Because I don't have time because I'm producing, right? I'm choosing to become the producer of the content, not the consumer. But the little time I do have when I do consume the social media content, and I'm like, there's not a single genuine, nice, wholesome, positive thing that I just consumed in those 15 minutes. And why? Like you said, it's because these algorithms are built to reward the fear, the brain rot, the bullshit. That's literally all that it is. And so you can either like cater to that and, maybe blow up and make like 20, 30 times the money, or you could just be yourself and show the world through your eyes in a genuine, like raw, uncensored way. You get to pick and choose.
That's a wonderful way to propose it too.
Yeah.
Now, I like how the algorithms feed on the fear, and you were able to experience firsthand how some of it was fictionalized, fabricated by this digital world.
100%.
What's funny is when yours is, crossing borders, rightfully so. You've got all the reasons to. But then you get that experience. You're like, oh my God, this is just a whole bunch of, it's a hoax and nothing to be afraid of. You do it.
Yeah.
There's this kid on TikTok. He's like Mullet Man. And, he's a little special. And that's pretty much why the internet just like flocks to him like a moth. I don't think he truly understands why he has the fandom he does, but it's large. And when I tell you 85% of his videos are him driving from, he's living somewhere right on the border by Canada, maybe New York. Who knows? He will literally go to Canada just for Tim Hortons
and come back. There's a lot of people that do that, by the way. That's a very common thing to live in the border.
But when I tell you this guy is goofy, right? Just period, right? That's his natural foundation he's working with to begin with.
Imagine dating somebody that can't even skin a buck.
The interviews at the border are hilarious because he's off for sure. Like no one's going to say that out loud. That's 100% why this is so entertaining. And dude, the videos, he's like answering them dead on, but like staring through their soul. I'm going to Tim Hortons. Like the way he's talking, the people, the the Border Patrol's like, dude, this guy's got to have a dead body in the trunk. It's like he's the most innocent soul you could find, and yet the way he's carrying himself and answering the questions, like dude, don't say it like that. Don't say it like that. And every time the questions go on for like 10 minutes because there's just a scab they're picking at. Like something's here.
Hi.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm okay. Where are you going today?
Tim Hortons up in Holden Grove. Wanted to get some Timbits.
Oh, okay. Your flag's still on.
Yeah.
Going in every time, or?
No, not every time.
Depends, kind of.
Depends on the officer's discretion.
Or the system too. Sometimes I don't think it generates. Sometimes, so it could be like not as frequent. So, alcohol, tobacco, cannabis.
Nope.
Firearms, weapons.
No.
Cash currency over 10,000.
Nope.
Okay. Duty-free shopping.
No.
Commercial goods of any kind.
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, I've noticed I haven't had to go in as much as I used
Yeah,
to.
it starts becoming less frequent in the system,
Yeah.
so you'll notice that. Yeah. You got your plate fixed now too.
Pardon?
You don't have your paper plate anymore.
I haven't had that
I
for...
haven't been here in a while.
No, I've had this vehicle for a couple of years already. The only difference is my front plate's in the dash.
Oh, okay. Alright, park on the left.
Okay.
Have a good weekend.
You too. Thank you.
And so for
Yeah.
most of us, it's like, I'm just here for Airbnb, going to see my buddy in Toronto. Okay, enjoy. And this kid, it's like, wait, what? Where were you last Tuesday at 7 p.m.? It's just like, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
And it's a great video series because it also shows how I mean, this is a guy going over the border every day for coffee.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
can't be too big of a deal.
Right. And by the way, there's a masterclass in answering those questions. There's a very correct way to answer those questions, and there's a very wrong way to answer those questions. And if you cross the border frequently, or if you fly frequently, you would know the less you say, the better off and the faster you are to go through.
Now,
Because what a lot of people make the mistake is they get asked a question and then they answer the question and then they ramble. And then off of these ramblings, the border person or the immigration officer, if you're at the airport, picks something from that ramble and then extends and asks more questions, and you dig yourself a hole. And now you're talking to the officer for 20 minutes versus 2 minutes.
exactly.
You know? And,
Well-
and I've said this on my stream too. I always tell people, I was like, no matter where you are, but more specifically in Canada and the US, this helps you the most. If you are asked a question, answer it directly, then close your mouth.
Yeah.
Where are you going? Los Angeles. How long are you staying? 1 week. Where are you going to be staying? Airbnb. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. You don't need
Done.
to turn on the charm.
You know,
Where you
that's
staying.
it.
Airbnb.
Don't-
We
yeah,
wanted
like-
a hotel,
yeah.
but it
Well,
didn't really.
yeah,
work.
let's like, I searched for Airbnbs in the area and I couldn't find any, and it was very expensive. Very expensive, you say. What do you do for work? Oh, you do that. How much are you earning? Do you have enough money to sustain yourself while you're here for 2 weeks in the United States?
How
Let me see your
quickly that
phone.
Evolved.
You know, you know what I mean? Like, and I always tell people, and I always say it on my live streams, give them exactly what they want to hear, nothing more, nothing less. Straight, concise, and to the point. And again, not just the US guys, not just the Canada guys. I did the same thing when I was in Japan, when I went to Thailand, when I went to Abu Dhabi. In Japan, they're like, where are you going? I'm like, I don't know. I haven't booked my hotel yet. Oh, what area are you going to book your hotel? Oh, I'm just going to book it in Shibuya. All right, cool. You know, it's like straight to the point. Like, why are you here? Oh, fun, vacation. Yeah, that's it. Like straight to the point. You know, like I have no reason to sit here and ramble about how it's been my dream since I was a kid to come to Japan and that like I've always wanted to come here. Just straight to the point.
Right.
You know?
And so I kind of got lost in the weeds with the Tim Hortons guy, but it totally related to
Yeah.
like somebody making a daily routine over the border.
Mhm.
But you were making the point about how these algorithms are totally curated to hijack your biology, keep you addicted, and keep your attention glued for hours on end. And
Right.
it's to the severity that it totally exceeds drugs and others. Indicators of such: The Social Dilemma. If you haven't seen that documentary, you've shorted your existence. That was like
Yeah.
homework for everybody years ago.
Yeah, that was
But
crazy.
that shows how all and this furthers the point that I was going to make again, which is the people who own and create these apps don't let their kids use it. It's like
Yep.
the cigarette manufacturers who don't
Mhm.
let their kids smoke cigarettes. It's like
Yeah.
it's you name it. If they won't let their kids do it, there's something there. So
Yep.
be aware. With that being said, though, what kind of sent us down this path, you were kind of like, hey, I'm willing to defend any lifestyle. You want to be an internet sleuth? Hey, have at it. If you want to be a creator that takes this life by the balls, have at it. And if you want to find yourself somewhere in between, have a field day. But one of the topics that we had recently on the live show, Silent, you weren't able to join us, so it'll be good to kind of get your perspective on it now here. But one of the things that we broke down was how we are losing our connection. Dating
Mhm.
being the first place we're seeing
It's
it,
true.
but like community and connections dissolving. We used to share time blocks on the TV. Yeah, you may not have been on the same channel, but we were the same audience of, 2 to 5 or whatever it was. We're losing common ground. So while we're having more options, look at like Kick, you could have infinity of what to watch, but we're also then losing what ties us together. Like, you know, no offense to someone that will probably get numerous shout outs, but like Brad Richardson, here's a dude that's an awesome piece of the community that we're building here, right? He's a huge helper of yours. We love it when he drops in
Massive.
on our
Shout out,
shows.
Brad, for real.
But like, here's a guy dedicated to, because he sees the diamond in the rough, but dedicated to a platform that is getting 12 people tonight, whatever it is, whatever, pick the instance. And so here's one person to an audience of 12. How many of those exist, right? In the numbers of billions and millions of people on the platform, we got to imagine this is en masse, millions of people.
Mm.
So here's somebody that's like every day, dude, did you see what was on Silent Destroyer last night? And people are like, who? And they're like, but did you see Jack in the Box 664? And you're like, who? It's just like we're all living in our own echo chambers. We're losing our commonality. So when you're like, yeah, if you want to doom scroll to the day you die, I'll sit complacently and like, nah, yeah. But also, no, we owe it to them to be like, no, you shouldn't live your life like that. Like,
Yeah.
I'll happily let you doom scroll on the rethink tank till you're blue in the face, but I'm also going to be the first one to tell you, not the way to live. We want better for you. So the question, because again, we're just kind of pulling out different questions to help assist us in answering, are we free if we're always online? I got to ask you, Silent, what does it mean to belong in the age of digital nomads?
I mean, it's something that's so fascinating to me, because when you become a digital nomad, you start to realize, especially coming from North America or Canada, you start to realize how much of a scam everything is here in North America. You know, like we're being scammed so bad.
The Western
Like
way.
the Western way is just it's awful. Honestly, I hate it. Like once I saw like how cheap everything is outside of like Europe and North
But
America,
if
I'm
you
like,
were going to have a
wow.
heart attack anywhere, you'd love it to be here.
Of course, right? Because we have world-class, top-notch doctors here, right? In the West. So and at the end of the day, really, like what it showed me is that in America and in Canada, you need a lot of money to become a free person. But in those countries, like you go to Thailand, you even go to Korea, right? Even Japan, you don't really need much. Like if you make like 2-3 grand a month, you'll be decent. you know. And of course, it all depends on like what kind of lifestyle you want to live, obviously, right? And this is all subjective. It all depends on what kind of lifestyle you want, what kind of person you are, you know, how good you are with your finances, whether you know how to credit card hack and how to get free points and how to get free flights and how to get cheap flights, or whether you don't. Like, there's like a big number of constraints that you have to go through. But I truly do encourage everybody, no matter what it is that you're doing in your life, to at least give it a try. Like, give being a digital nomad a try, even if it's just for 3 months, and then you can go back to whatever job you were doing.
Well, because it's an interesting term. You know, when I read digital nomad, it's nomad in and of itself is like it depends on the context at which you apply it here, because you could be talking about the creator or the consumer. And so a nomad being a member of a people having no permanent abode and who travel from place to place to find fresh pasture for their livestock. But in many ways, like, you know, if you've seen Sons of Anarchy, they would like classify like those people as like nomads. If you didn't have like a home, like if you weren't in a group, you were just like a single rider. So it's depending on the context, right? So you could be a nomad in a digital community sense where like we're building something within the Rethink Tank. You've got SilentDestroyer, you've got Ricky from Just Another Day TV, Katarina. You could go check out whoever you want, but a common thread is a community. Like we all have similar goals, and we share similar senses of humor, appreciations for each other, whatever the case may be. So like you could be considered a digital nomad if you're just still a content creator on your own and you haven't found this sense of community, the Discord that builds you together. You could be considered a digital nomad if you are on the consumer end of it and you know, are somebody that's a big fan of a small group, like somebody that's a fan of 21 Pilots, something that we push on the Rethink Tank Live, hashtag 21 Pilots to the Super Bowl, hashtag 21 Pilots Fortnite skins. That being said, I'm one of a bajillion. Like I can't sit here and pretend like I'm niche, I'm special. No, literally, I just started this book of how it's called The Only Band in the World, and it's like, yeah, I really don't like how mainstream this has become. But like that being said, I can't say I'm a nomad. Like I'm of a giant hive. Go to one of these concerts, your mind will be blown on how people everybody's dressing up like it's Halloween. It's costumes and dedicated. But you know, a band we affiliate with quite a bit, Quick Mystery, when we're there cheering for them, you're kind of a nomad. It's not like there's like a million people in the world. Right? We see the dime in the rough. We know what it's worth. But like, I'm a nomad in my fandom. So that all being said, I look at the inquiry here. What does it mean to belong? I think you belong as long as you have one person that's willing to share a moment with you, right? Like you're no longer a nomad as long as it's something about like the Monkey app, how we met. Like you could just meet a stranger, start there, build a community there, and build out. And then, so nomad, it's a tough inquiry because like, what does it mean to belong in an age of a digital nomad? Like somebody that embraces that, problematic. Those that don't embrace it, it's much easier to break out of that thing. If you dislike being a nomad, well, on the internet, it's much easier to break out of that than you think. There is a forum for everything. Like if look at the furries, they would not be able to rent out an entire hotel if it wasn't for the interconnectivity of our interweb, you know?
It's true. Absolutely. And I think that's the beautiful thing about the internet, right? Is you can use the internet for the brain rot. You can use the internet for networking. You can use it to build communities. You can use it to build great people, to meet people and form like these awesome relationships and connections that you may not quite necessarily be able to do them in real life unless you have certain hobbies. And, you know, of course, these hobbies can cost you a lot of time and money. Therefore, a lot of people won't have access to those hobbies, therefore reducing your chance of meeting someone. But online, It's very simple, and you could just like, as long as you have a computer and you're paying your internet bill, or shit, you can even go to the library and get free Wi-Fi if you want to. But the point is, like, the internet is really what you make it at the end of the day, and there's something for everybody, whether you are trying to find a community, trying to be part of a community, trying to build a community. It's all going to be available to you through the internet, and it is up to you at the end of the day how you want to use it. And I always advise people to be very spare with your time and your energy and channel it to something that makes your life the best version of it every single day.
Man, I do love that. One thing I'd like to just take a little bit of an audible towards. We touched upon Western everything, medicine, society, governance. It kind of being a fiction, as you may put it. One of the things I want to ask then is, unpacking, is Western freedom just a brand? So, presenting just a little piece here. In defense of, is Western freedom just a brand? Yes, Western freedom is just a brand. Marketing of ideals, Western nations often promote freedom as a central value, but critics argue it's selectively applied, especially in foreign policy where alliances are made with authoritarian regimes and convenience. Economic and cultural power. Freedom becomes a soft power tool used to sell Western lifestyles, capitalism, and democratic ideals globally, but sometimes more as an image than practice. And again, it sometimes acts as a guise for other agendas than truly being what it sells itself to be. Further, the last piece being inequality and hypocrisy. Systemic issues like racial inequality, mass surveillance, and restricted civil liberties in Western democracies undermine the authenticity of their freedom narrative. In defense of this, where we say no, Western freedom is real and meaningful, got to consider legal and institutional protections. Western democracies typically enshrine freedoms like speech, press, and religion in law, upheld by independent courts and institutions. However, as we kind of open the episode up with, when those independent courts and institutions fail to do so, you can't just complacently sit by and let them do that. Historical struggles and progress. Hard-won civil rights movements and democratic reforms show a real commitment for expanding and deepening freedoms. I just got to say, folks, as much as we love harping on freedom here and damning the souls involved, let me be the first to remind you that that is a practice that has been around for all of eternity, and America was the first in human existence on the floating rock in space to make it illegal. So take that shit to the bank, shove it up your ass. And the last piece I have for you is civic participation. Free elections, open protests, and public discourse are not just symbolic. They empower citizens in ways absent in many non-Western regimes. Listen, gay guy, you might not like it here, but you will definitely be pushed out of a building on the Eastern Front. So pick and choose your battles, broski. Would you like to take a moment to respond as I throw it all at you?
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, once you realize that the amount of freedom you have in the West is equal to the amount of money that you have and that you make, that's when you start to understand what the system is, who it's built by, who it's for, and who it caters to. Right? This is why in the West you are very much incentivized, especially in America, to become as rich as you possibly can. Because once you become rich, the system will work with you and for you, and then you will taste and gain the true freedom that is advertised and pushed through Hollywood and through media arms and through marketing and through the world. Because really, at the end of the day, that's how it boils down to in North America. Now, of course, it's very similar in other countries, but the thing is, in other countries, the difference is if you are rich, but you are not of a certain clan, over a certain membership, or kissing the ring of a certain somebody, then you are kind of cooked, and they will just take all your money and freeze all your bank accounts and seize all your assets, and you're done. Which is why there's a lot of people that come from certain countries. I'm not going to name them. I'm sure you guys all know who they are, and they hide their wealth here in Canada and the US. So
It's true. But here's where, the sticky wicket keeps coming back, dude. It's flawed. But,
very, yes.
You're a very mobile person. So maybe you can bring me some insight, because this is something I've been trying to seek an answer on, and I just don't think there is one. But actually, what's funny is the fact that you're never going to finally land in America might tell me that there is an answer to this. I see all the problems for what they are here. And of course, I want to do something about it, or I want to leave before it gets too bad. But then I sit back and I go, where else would I want to go? And so when I say it's flawed here, it's flawed worse everywhere else.
That's
So
right.
if I wanted to make
Mhm.
a solid change against those billionaires that are totally owning and impacting our world, it seems like the best chance I have is still here, even though we have no freedom. That we have the longest leash. We're all dogs on a leash. Mine just happens to be the longest. I can get away with just a little bit more, but we do realize that the game does not. I'm not a free roaming dog. No. And it's one of those. Well, I feel like the best chance I have is having the longest possible leash. Is there a longer leash that I should be looking for?
And the thing is, and I've said this in my stream many times too. I don't think there's a better country to be a pure capitalist than America. There just isn't. If there's one country where you want to raise hundreds of billions of dollars and work on a company or work on something that changes the world, there's no other Silicon Valley. There might be up and coming Silicon Valleys, right? That might threaten the Silicon Valley, but there's never going to be another Silicon Valley, right? Like just using that as an example. And like you said, at the end of the day, you have to pick and choose your battles, because no matter where it is that you go in the world, there's always going to be a very good upside and there's going to be a very big downside. And you have to pick and choose which upsides you're okay with dealing with and which downsides you're okay with dealing with, And like you said, there's a lot of places that have way more downsides than upsides versus like Canada and the US. Because on the global scale, we're doing great. We're like in the top 10 or top 20, in almost everything. And were we better before? Sure. But does that mean that you can get exactly what you want to get in here or outside of there? And again, it all depends on what kind of lifestyle you want to live and what you would like to accomplish, And at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, is this the life that I want to live for like X amount of years? Or do I just want to be here, make a boatload of money, and leave and just keep traveling the world, or have a house somewhere where it's cheap? Or again, all depends on the lifestyle that you want to live.
No, you're 1,000% right. Now, speaking of traveling, the lifestyle you want to live, something else that'll assist us in the inquiry here that I'd like to pose to you. Okay, I go to, because I am like a Beatles groupie, just following 21 Pilots wherever they go. I drag my sister to Barcelona to see them, because seeing them in Cleveland just wasn't enough. So I had recently gone to Barcelona and Portugal, and you could check all the escapades, being stuck there without electricity when it went out in the two countries, the whole nine. That being said, not a lick of it was documented. I took a bunch of like B-rolls and fun stuff, but haven't done anything with it. I might do an end of the year type of stuff that I save it for. But what's interesting is Ricky was like on me. So our buddy Ricky from Just Another Day TV was just on me for why are you not making a vlog? And it's because Ricky's big in the vlog biz. So he's like, why are you not making a vlog? You're there.
Right.
Why wouldn't you just do it? And I see that. Then also, like, dude, my sister is a pharmacist and works out every day.
Mm-hmm.
She will be married and have kids, and I will never do that again.
Mm-hmm.
And while we were like ready to kill each other by the end of it, like we had each other's full attention, and that whole trip we just lived in the trip.
Mm-hmm.
I'm walking away from a vacation, a trip, exclaiming, I will probably never go back to Portugal. I'm in,
Mm-hmm.
like, of all the list of places I've been, couldn't be less in a hurry to go back there. Spain, maybe. Only with if my wife, girlfriend, lady friend needed to go there, I'd go again. That was fun ish.
Mm-hmm.
But nowhere near as fun as Italy, Dubai,
Yeah.
I mean, dude, Jamaica is the crown jewel. And I've
Mm-hmm.
barely scratched the surface of places to visit. So I sit here and go, all of those not vlogged, fully lived,
Mm-hmm.
and as somebody that is a diehard travel advocate, I'm saying we need to get more traveling, get out of your echo chamber, experience
Mm-hmm.
other people, and
Facts.
unite our common humanity a little bit more. But dude, I feel like I came out ahead. It looks exhausting. It looks like work. And I know it probably doesn't feel that way because you're just eating your dish while you're in Japan or wherever you're at.
Mm.
But you are working.
Yeah.
And there's a major difference between being on a break. Like, bro, when you're like, I'm gonna go walk, we're waiting for our Airbnb to open. We're in a food court where the train just let out, and it's like, well, I don't like that food. You know what? This is the first one of the trip. I'm gonna try the weird things that this place is McDonald's. And just living in that, I didn't share with anybody. And you're kind of, I don't know. I'm definitely projecting a point that I don't feel you're going to agree with, but because I think you're also going to exclaim to the contrary, which you're allowed to do, and I would encourage you to. But I would feel like I live more in the moment when I'm not thinking about 80 people watching me right now, what the comments are telling me, what they're telling me I should do, kind of guiding and dictating and steering where this moment is about to go. No, don't get McDonald's. You get that all the time. You got to go to the brisket burger. And you're just like, no, I didn't want that. But then, dude, like, you also made comments where you're like, yeah, I had to go to the bathroom and turn the camera off for like 3 minutes. And for 3 minutes, people are just bitching, like, where are you? That's great. Why are you? I'm going to come back. And I don't know. To me, that feels exhausting. But so, okay, what am I getting at here? Shut up and spit it out. Is traveling still transformative, or is it just content now?
It's both. It's both, because for me, when I travel to a place, I do my best to document the place, the real place, right? That's why if you watch my streams, I talk to locals. I try my best not to do the tourist trap stuff. I try my best to usually have like a guide or someone who's from there show me around. Like, I want to see the country through your eyes, because I know that if I do that, I will get a real version of the country versus what the polished tourist company and guide company have curated for me. And you can only go here and do that, That's kind of like how when you go to the Caribbean and you just stay in your resort for 7 days and you say you experienced those countries, when in reality you didn't. You just experienced a resort for 7 days. That's different. That's a curated experience that's marketed and made for you to experience the country. As for traveling, right? When you're traveling and documenting and streaming, you have to always be on. And a lot of people think that for me, this is a vacation, which it is, right? I'm not denying that. It is, of course. But at the same time, it's not, because I have to be on for 10 to 12 hours on camera, right? And that's why I really respect people that do this 24/7. Like, there's streamers that do like 100-day, like Ice Poseidon, for example. He's one of the biggest IRL streamers in the world. He's one of the godfathers of like modern IRL streaming. And he's the one that like pioneered it to what it is today. He recently just did the 100 days straight. He went to Japan and he went to South Korea. And remember, this is 100 days straight of like 24/7. It means the camera does not turn off. And like, I respect that, because you may think it's easy, but I challenge you right now.
Hell
Do
no.
it for a week. Just hell, do it for 3 days. See what will happen to your brain after the third day. And I'm telling you, like, if you think any of this streaming is easy, it's because I make it look easy. You know? Like, there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes, and there's a lot of things that I do when I'm streaming that you don't see, right? That I work on, that I juggle, and I make sure I make it look easy. Because when you are a streamer, there's a lot of times where you're gonna fail, you're gonna have a shitty stream, people aren't gonna watch, you're gonna like go to a certain country and then no one likes it. You know, you're gonna go to a certain place and then they're like, no, you should have went to this place, or no, you should go to that place, or you should go to that place, or whatever. And there's a lot of like clashing and a lot of like of your energy that's being drained towards that. So to answer your original question, I would say it's both, in the sense that it is really what you make it to be, but at the same time, you also have to remember that this is not really a vacation, because you have to be on for 10 to 12 hours, sometimes more even.
Well, I got to tell you, dude, with that statement right there, you kind of shift things up alone. Let me, before I make my point, because it is going to be in contradiction to what you presented, but with that being said, in this ultra flowery liberal world we live in, work-life balance, got to have a healthy one. Everybody wants to be free and paint, but not have to do all the things that have to pay for that. Do you think vacation is a necessary element? Just over the course of a year, are you owed a vacation? Do you need a vacation? Is it necessary for your mental health? Or are you of the Bill Gates, Elon Musk camp, where there's no turning off, you're always on? Even when you're off, you're on.
That's a very
That
good
would
question.
dictate my response.
And I get asked that a lot. I really do, like, all the time. It's like, hey, Silent, like, don't you get tired of like streaming every day? And the answer is, when you're doing something that you're very passionate about, that you love,
Sure.
you don't,
No. Don't get
right?
into that, because, dude, I'm doing the Rethink Tank, right?
Right.
So I've
So
built a studio that's cost me thousands. This has taken every hour outside of this. I don't feel like I'm doing nothing's paying me. I'm compelled by nothing but passion. So I'm not even trying to build a house of misery. Look at me, I'm in a jail. No. I want to know, even in a world where I'm dedicating every waking hour outside of this to my project, I'm still taking 2 weeks to go to Europe. I'm taking a long weekend in October to go to Florida. I'm taking vacations. And guess what? You assholes are going to see none of it. So you'll see an Instagram story. I gave you a little mukbang as I ate like a egg-topped chicken in wherever we were, Madrid. So like, you'll get a story when I feel like it. When I'd had enough Mai Tais to get me excited to go, now's the time. That's when you'll get it. So I'm sitting here to lead you to giving me what resonates with your answer. I will answer it for myself. I do believe you need a week. You need 2 weeks. You need a day here. Are you going to seriously present to humanity in this audience? You're going to say you should never take a moment off?
No.
Whether
and that's
your thing is kick, mine is the Rethink Tank. You're saying never take a break and just go and sit by a beach with nothing. Just go.
Yeah. And by the way, whenever I want to do that, I will do that. That's the thing. Right now,
do you want to do that? One is the first question. Do you want to do that? Two, would you, as a roadmap or template for people's goals, would you suggest they should have some, but don't get greedy, or don't have any, and it's on all the time?
I think it all boils down to, if you need it, get it, and if you don't need it, don't get it.
So what, do you not need it?
Me right now, currently,
Zero
no.
vacations. You're gonna take none.
Right now, currently 0. Like, I'm good. Like, I'm not gonna turn off the stream for a while, because I have a certain target that I'm wanting to hit, and then once I hit that certain target, that's when I will definitely slowly take my foot off the gas and start taking my vacations. But until that happens, I am locked in and I'm live every single day.
Sure. Cool. All right. I'm going to give you a little masterclass on debate. This was something I did a lot of. I just wanted to get that answer so I could give a full response. So you're going to say 0 vacations. And I'm just going to now just throw it all at you because I think we could get a really good, juicy response from you too. So all guards down, honest, virtuous, just truth from the heart. You will make the position that you will proclaim to people 0 vacations. Well, then you adjust it. You're like, well, no. I want 0 vacations. But if you feel you need a vacation, then you should. Well, the Rethink Tank is not a place where I'm going to at least suggest degeneracy is okay. If we're going to go back to something that came up earlier, doom scrolling may benefit me. And we need those people. Not that we need them, but they will inevitably statistically exist and we can benefit from it. But I'm also not going to lie to your face and say, you can be that. You shouldn't be that. And you know what? You shouldn't be a serial killer either. But statistically, that guy's going to exist too. So I'm not going to deny that these people will exist. These people will be created by our community. But I'm not going to sit complacency and say like, hey, you should be allowed to be that. You shouldn't. You shouldn't. You should try to be better. You should strive for better. That being said, I think me and Silent really bond over the end all, like die fighting this fight. Give it your all. And if you're at the end of the road and you don't have it, then you could say, at least I gave it my all. But those few nights you slept in, those few nights you ignored it, you neglected editing, you've neglected posting, you neglected engaging with your community. Don't feel shocked when you didn't get it. The only time you could sit back into the end of the road and say the algorithm was built against me, I was shadow banned, and this thing screwed me, is when you literally dead nuts gave it your all. And you're not doing it to convince other people. You are just doing it so you can sleep at night knowing you did it all and it screwed you. That being the premise I'm coming into this with, I'm going to give it every waking moment I can. I think it would be mentally ill to say you don't deserve time off. And what's interesting is Silence saying, I'm not going to indulge. But this is kind of like Silent saying, Taylor Swift's like, well, I'm not going to indulge in work. It's like, well, bitch, you're making millions and you just sold out 5 nights at this stadium in Austria. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you're doing what you love, sure. And you don't need vacations, sure. But what you just danced and did was a vacation. Literally all of those people, 80,000 of them, paid their week's salary to watch you take a break, a vacation, because what they're currently doing is a break, is a vacation. When everybody's logging in to Silent, guess what they're not doing? They are not creating a blueprint drawing that they need to turn into their engineer boss. Nope. They're cooking dinner. It's their time off. So the hard reality is, Silent, you're working extra hard to get paid to be permanently timed off. Like, I'm catching you. Boom. Oh, I wish I could have caught you 2 seconds ago. Bro's been mukbanging in the background the whole time. Bro just wants to get paid to mukbang. So
Juggling.
Yeah, dude. So my dick comment right now is going to be, you could get off saying 0 vacations when your 12-hour day is a vacation. Now, I don't want to belittle a bigger point that you made earlier because I want to respond to that as well. This isn't just a vacation. So there is 2 competing points here. One, I could get away with 0 vacations, and my argument's going to be because I think the whole thing's one big vacation. But then you're going to go, no, you don't understand. I'm monitoring the chat, my battery, the environment around me, 50 million things I'm juggling, and it's on for way longer than your 9 to 5. But one comment that Silence said that just cannot go unaddressed. What will happen? See what will happen to you in 3 days of just 3 days of doing this. You'll lose your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so one, can't make the argument that that's a vacation, but also let's bring it back to the bigger point I want to make, back to the debate that I want to really ground us in. Is it travel? Is this travel transformative, or is it just content? If you're going to sit here and go, it's super work and I'm doing all this stuff to the point where your mind would melt in 3 days, you are definitely not enjoying the Amalfi Coast in Italy the same way I did. And here's something else, like excursions. If you wanted to be the guy that took the extra length to stream your scuba dive, it's possible within a realm, but you're not getting cell service down there. So immediately, the thing that I would do on every vacation, like my hinge says, I love skiing and scuba diving. Those are my 2 things, and golf. But those 2 things, you want to get a thrill, find me scuba diving. Can't stream that. So me and my sister, scuba dive certified. Anywhere we go in the world, we can do this. That's what we do. We take trips to scuba dive. Can't stream it. So am I not going to take the trip now because it's not content? So it's just this weird dynamic where, like as Silent said, he goes to this place and, you live it. You become a part of it. I think something he's getting that a regular tourist isn't is that local's perspective. It's very cool and unique to be able to go to a location, connect with a streamer that also creates content, engage and grow through another audience, but then also get to experience boots on the ground, that world. But then you close your whole point out with the concession that it's not really a vacation. So to make that make sense, and it's not really a vacation, we're going to justify proclaiming a work-life balance that has no vacations. I want to push back on your point where you go like, right now, no vacation. It's like, yeah, dude, that's the only point. That's the only point in time this point works. Because just like I am, I'm going to project my position and my opinion on you. I'm willing to lose all the hours. We're going to close. It'll be 10 p.m. I'm going to edit until 1 in the morning, and I'm going to go to my 9 to 5 that pays for this whole thing at the ass crack of dawn, be there at 8. That being said, I'm willing to gas the whole tank right now, putting all my chips on black that I can get to a point where I can comfortably coast. And it's not that I'm giving up the dream. I'm still going to do the Rethink Tank, but that could become my 9 to 5. I don't have to do 8 hours at work and then 12 hours outside of work and running on 4 to 5 hours of sleep on a given night. No, I can, at that point, replace the 9 to 5, do the Rethink Tank for 10 hours, and then, I'm mowing the lawn, I'm taking care of the dog, maybe build a family in my free time.
Maybe.
So, like, to sit here and say you're not willing to give the whole tank all the time. It's for this temporal period so you can conquer the dream and open that window of freedom, that window of vacation. Dude, some lumberjack somewhere, not lumberjack, let's just say some hilljack somewhere that works at a mechanic. His vacation is chopping wood. I just want to be at home chopping my wood. To a lumberjack, that's work. So, like, it's one of these, like, dude, I'm looking at your world, and it isn't work for you because you love it, but you also want to get to a point where it's a lot more limited. Like, Jinxie or Ninja, they do it on their time. Catch me from 4 to 10, and then that's it. You got me for 6 hours. And that dude's making way more than the person that's working 8 hours a day. They're doing what they love, and they got a lot more of that vacation time, which is time that they could spend autonomously doing, independently doing whatever they want. So, I don't know. Chance to respond.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, it all boils down to, like, what kind of lifestyle you want to live, right? Because the amount of money that you make every single month doing streaming, because it's unfortunately one of those things where there's a lot of dues that you have to pay. Now, just to respond to the one comment you made, I didn't say that your brain will melt if you stream every day for 3 days. I said if you keep the camera on for 24/7, meaning you don't turn off the stream. That just to
Right.
just to
That's
be
my point.
just to
So
be clear
if you
about
don't
that,
turn
right?
off the stream and take a break, your brain will melt within 3 days.
Yes,
And we're talking about work-life balance for years.
yes, and that's not something I'm willing to do yet. I
Mhm.
think I need to grow my community much longer and much more before I do something as challenging as like a 24/7 for like 2 weeks or whatever. Maybe, who knows? Stay tuned. Hit the follow button and find out. Maybe I'll do it soon. Who knows? But at the end of the day, it's really, really what you make it. And streaming is something where you just have to pay your dues. And once you grind it out like that, that is how you stand out from the crowd, because there is, unfortunately, it's a very competitive environment, right? There's a lot of people that are live every single day, but because they don't, they don't network, they don't like step out of their comfort zone, they do the same content over and over again. They're stuck in the same place with 3 viewers and 120 followers, even though they've been streaming for 3 years every day for 2 hours. And there's like certain growth strategies that you could take, as we discussed before. You could do the brain rot, you could do like the unwholesome, like destroy tent, press tent, like the kind of content that you could do. There's certain content, especially the degen stuff, that's like rocket fuel for a lot of people. And it all depends on how long you're willing to do it for before you realize that, okay, like this payout is either going to happen. And when it happens, you have to know how to turn off yourself to recharge your brain so that you can make better content, right? Or you can just keep going and just don't stop at all. And even if you look at people that are like on fire, like Kai or Speed streamers, right? Even they take vacations, right? But it's because they have paid their streamer dues, right? They have built enough of a community that can understand, listen, guys, I got to turn off for 2 weeks and I'll be back, But I am not quite there yet. I don't know when I will get there, but I know that when I will get there, I will, of course, use every chance I can to rest up, because I think it's very important once you are in a position to be able to rest, that you should rest.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit here and argue like just be on 24/7 365, because then you'll burn out and then there'll be no stream for like 6 months because you'll spiral into a depression hole, and that's a whole other topic and subject. But you really should recharge yourself, just generally speaking, whether you are a streamer, a digital nomad, a content creator. And it honestly doesn't really matter what it is you're doing, because at the end of the day, your rest day is where you can have the best growth sometimes, and just like going to the gym, right? Like a lot of people argue, no, you should go to the gym every day, you shouldn't have rest days. But like the science shows that when you have your rest days, that's when a lot of your muscles start growing and a lot of the recovery starts happening. And also you should be sleeping 7 to 10 hours versus sleeping only 3 to 4 or 5, and because that's also where the most of your muscle growth and the most of your like weight loss happens, is when you sleep for a long time, because that's when your body can actually rest. And if you have the proper nutrients in your body, that's when your real transformation will happen, right? Because the guy that eats McDonald's and goes to the gym every day is not going to see the same result as the guy that eats healthy and goes to the gym 3 times a week. It's
Right.
different paths.
No, that's a great answer. I didn't mean to derail the very strong point you were making. The only reason I went like, you're like, Kai Sinet and whoever else you were saying, they paid their dues, blah, blah. The only thing, dude, that I want to throw at you that kind of throws a monkey wrench in it all. Have you seen one of the images that has been recently unearthed of Kai? Like, as of recent, it really started with the Kevin Hart stream. That's when I first started thinking this dude's a plant. Like, this is not real. There's not a real thing about this dude. I mean, you're telling me people love this shit? Apparently they do, but I'm telling you what started it wasn't, again, that brain rot. It's This guy was totally platformed. And they're like, you're
Mm,
crazy. You're crazy. Bro, explain this image. It's been going viral recently. This is Kai with little Nas X over his shoulder there to his right, to our
mm,
right, looking on the right side of the image. That's little Nas X
mm,
before they both were famous. What are the odds of that, dude? The other
mm.
industry plant just happens to be right over his shoulder. Do not
Interesting.
buy this BS for a second. So here's the hard part, dude, is I'm living in a world where Mr. Beast has family within YouTube. So this whole BS of like, it's all the thumbnail. I just spent days where my mom thought I was at college. I spent days in a parking lot figuring out how to do the algorithm. And it's all bullshit, not thumbnails. He's lying to you. And so it's hard to believe, like one of the topics and themes that have come up throughout the episode, be genuine, be yourself, do what entertains you, do what you feel is right. And, the rest will come. And if it doesn't, at least you could say you were true to yourself and you did what you enjoyed and all the other stuff. That being said, it just continues to surface that the powers that be are not going to let you win. Like they are the gatekeepers. And every time you think it's a homegrown, natural, one of us, it's another plant. I don't know. That's what's killing me. With all of this being thrown at you, I got to ask then, let's consider hustle culture versus hospitality. What has travel taught you about time management and that issue of like this hustle culture and also like that hospitality, managing your time, enjoying and living the moment?
Yeah, definitely. Managing your time is one of the most important things to do when you're traveling, especially when you're traveling and creating content, because your day has to be done in blocks, right? I think breaking down your day into smaller blocks definitely helps you a lot with managing like your day, and especially when you're traveling, because there's a lot of things that you don't know that you will deal with when you're traveling, like jet lag and fatigue, and like certain if you're on a certain diet, there's a lot of stuff that you might not have access to in certain countries. There's a lot of things that might throw off your sleep, such as like air pollution, noise pollution, etc. And you have to be very mindful of that. And the thing that I've learned the most, that is been the most important during travel, is you need to be able to be like nimble enough to adjust your day as it happens, right?
Mm.
Because so many days, like I would like message somebody and they'd be like, hey, let's meet up at this place at 4. I'm like, okay, bet, sure, I'll see you there. And now I'm there at 4 and they're not there, and they're like, oh, hey, sorry, like I slept, or hey, sorry, like I couldn't make it, or whatever. You have to be on your feet. You have to
And
come up
make
with
the most of what you were dealt.
right, and you have to, that's it, like you have to make the most of, like, okay, so now we're here, so let's do this here now since we're close, and that person didn't show up. And that's something that I've learned, is that you have to be on it, and you have to be ready to adjust and adapt your strategy constantly, because every day there's going to be things that happen and constraints and things that just change to where your whole plan just goes into evaporation and up in smoke in like seconds, and you have to be able to adapt that. Oh, my flight's delayed, right? My flight just got delayed. That means I'm gonna miss my connecting flight. That means I'm gonna have to book a hotel. That means, and you have to be like on it when you're traveling for those little things, because if you're not, then traveling's gonna be a freaking nightmare for you. Like, oh, luckily I have a credit card that gives me travel insurance, and that travel insurance has flight delay built into it, and I booked my flight with the credit card. Therefore, I have to just call the travel credit card number and tell them, hey, my flight was delayed. And I think that's the thing that I've most learned and that I've valued a lot, is to always be like nimble enough to adjust yourself, and instead of allowing the stress of travel to like get to you and to bring you down and to like slow you down, you just have to like duck and weave and adjust and pivot and rotate 180 and like have the nimbleness and the agility and the ability to change your plans on the go, because when you're traveling, you're gonna have to do that a lot, unfortunately.
Oh my gosh, more than you realize. And I
Mhm.
love your point, because the truth is, folks, you either pick up that habit or be prepared for the world to leave you behind. I'm going to be, I know I'm playing both sides of the fence here. I sit here and advocate for vacations, but when I make the claim that it needs to be on a very limited balance, I want to emphasize take it as somebody who's addicted to MSG. It's just like MSG in your Chinese food. You want all of it, right? You're like, oh my God, I want all the MSG. You need as little MSG in your life as possible, but you'd be we're the universe, we're stardust, we're the universe just experiencing itself. You'd be cheating the ethos, its true experience, without getting a little dabble of General Tso's chicken. So I'm sitting here saying you need vacations. You need as little vacations as possible. I will double down with Silent. He's got a true point. Do this as little as possible to get you through it. But here's the problem. You're weak. You need more than you're willing to concede. And if you get caught up in that mindset, that becomes your character, your personality, everything else, you're going to lose. It's going to infect you. You're going to be working only to look out the window mourning, I wish I was on a beach. I wish I was not fall in love with working. Has that not been the entirety of Silent Destroyer's point? If you love what you're doing, then you're never working. And as much as that's a pain in the ass, I'm sitting here like at 2 a.m. hating that I got to get this done. But there's literally no one making me do this. Not a boss, not a paycheck, not a barrel at the back of my dome. I still did it, and I didn't even want to. Somehow I still licked the electrical socket. This is going to electrocute me. I don't love it. And I'm like, but damn it, I love the rethink tank. I'm like, and I just electrocute myself. Someone should clip that. Especially in front of a green screen like this.
Oh yeah,
that's
spicy
a win.
memes incoming.
But the grander point being, you have failed this existence if you haven't found a passion that you are willing to sacrifice it all for. It doesn't matter what it is. If you are the knitter, one who knits, then you should want to be the greatest knitter to live ever. You should want to conquer this existence. I am going to be the Amazon of knitting. And if that isn't who you are, then you haven't found the right thing. But that should be what's making you wake up. Whether it's golf, whether it's planting, gardening, I mean, just figure it out. And that's our problem, is it's easy to fall in the doom scroll. It's easy to fall into the sugar all night, smoking pot all day, because we're just trying to numb the fact that I have failed to find that thing. I used to think, oh man, I'm the luckiest son of a bitch in town, because all my other friends are going to college and they don't have a clue what they want to do. And I'm 12 and I know I want to be an attorney. You know what's incredible? The year between college and law school, all of college, I'm going to be an attorney. No one's going to stop me. I'm going to be an attorney. Then I go in that gap year driving in below zero weather to sell phones at Sprint, because I'm going to law school. I'm not just the schmuck like the rest of these clowns selling phones. I got bigger and badder places to be, but I'm spending a year freezing my ass off. And every day I'm driving there, I'm listening to some stupid bald-headed comedian talking about real world issues that he's totally ignorant about. Hey, Jamie, what's that thing, the thing? And I'm just screaming at the radio like, dude, how do you have 50 million people in 2017? How do you have 100,000 people listening to you right now? And you don't know this answer. And every day he'd go, if you think you should be doing this, you should be doing this. And I'm like, that dude is talking to me. I should be doing this. You are terrible at this. And so now, fast forward to this point. I found a thing dedicated my whole life to it, being an attorney. In the pursuit of that, instantly found the true calling. I go to law school. I start a podcast with this colleague in school, and then it turns out he ain't it. And you know what was clear as day? It wasn't anywhere close to the passion he would be willing to give his left foot for. Hence the parting of ways. And guess what? Bro's kicking ass as an attorney. He found his. So the thing that's got you on a drive, may be temporal. It may be an attorney today, and to my parents' chagrin, a podcaster tomorrow. But my luck hasn't been what it is. Well, I'm going to be in a higher financial class because I chose attorney. No, that isn't it. Because guess what? There are mechanics out here that are happier than pigs in shit because they do exactly what they love to do. They get to live the lifestyle they love. And you sit back and you go, who's the real winner? The judge that's bleeding their existence away into misery, or the mechanic that's built a family, will have people by his side as he passes, and lived each day exactly how he wished it to be. So I throw it to the person. Silent nailed it. Of all these things, whether you're living in the digital world or goddamn reality, the skill you need. So while I'll profess, have your breaks as you need it, they need to be ultra limited because you're trying to conquer, even if it's knitting, the skill that will be the stepping stone to reaching that point where you have the undepletable tank is adjustment, is improvisation. Being able to, because it doesn't matter. If I am doing a podcast today with SilentDestroyer, it doesn't matter that my uncle cut the internet. It doesn't matter that I have to reset up a whole studio. Today, this is being conquered. Like Silent said, if I'm doing a stream, it doesn't matter that the guy I'm supposed to be collaborating with, an emergency shows up, his battery's dead, I can't get in contact. I'm accomplishing the goal no matter what. Your problem is you haven't found that goal that makes every hurdle thrown in front of you impossible to slow you down. With all, my giant diatribe, then I kind of do leave it with hustle culture should bury hospitality 10 times over. And, what these travelings and streams should teach you, and really just life, time management. Conquer time management, and being able to, and that time management, the whole skeleton needs to be your passion. Finding what it is, so no matter what, it always fits the schedule. I'm always going to make it work.
Exactly. You nailed it. And that's what it is, right? Like at the end of the day, once you realize that, once you master your time management and you master the ability to be constantly pivoting and constantly adjusting and be on the move, you could basically get whatever it is that you want out of life, really.
No, you're 100% right. So, one of the last questions I wanted to address with you as we unpacked this whole giant consideration here. Do you think a streamer has a social responsibility?
I would say yes, for sure. Because you are influencing people, whether you like it or not, you are influencing people. I have a lot of younger people that watch me, like usually 20 to 25, and I'm 31. And I really do feel responsible to guiding those people to the right path, because the last thing I want to see is these young people commit the same mistakes I committed, when I can just guide them and tell them, hey, don't do that. Just do it this way, do it that way. And instead you avoid yourself like a mountain of pain and a mountain of time that you're going to waste. But unfortunately, there's a lot of people that learn only the hard way, and there's only so much I could do. But yes, I do really feel responsible. And we spoke about this actually recently, because I used to have a gambling problem in my early 20s. I used to go to the casino every single weekend, and it got so bad to where I took my money that was supposed to go to my rent and I gambled it and I lost it. And so then I had to go borrow money from my roommate. and I had to go back to the casino and I had to gamble his money and then make back his money and then make back the money that I lost, my rental money, and then pay him back and then pay my rent. And honestly, that day was probably like one of the darkest days ever for me. And so that's when I realized like how destructive a gambling addiction is and how like devastating it can be. And when I talked to a lot of people that were gamblers, they almost all told me like, oh yeah, there was like a point in their career or in their like throughout their gambling. And by the way, let me be more specific. People that don't gamble anymore but used to gamble, they told me that they literally would sell like the TV that's in the room and make $200 and take that $200 and go gamble with it because they want to make back the 35,000 that they lost. You know. And spoiler alert, you won't make that money back. I just got really lucky that night, and that's all that it was. Like Lady Luck was on my side, and I got really lucky, and I made the money back, and I paid off back my roommate, and I paid off my rent. And I remember that night, I was like, I'm never gonna gamble ever again. Like this is insane. Like this is not good. And I will never forget that night too, when all of that happened. There was this older Asian gentleman. I never got his name. I wish I did. And he told me this. He made this comment that, like, where it finally clicked to me. He told me casinos are rich people's playground. If you're not rich, don't come to play. And when he said that, I'm like I thought about that for a second. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, yes, this makes so much sense, right? But the casinos know that it's mostly the regular people that are going to come here and fund the casino, not the rich people, because the rich people will come, they'll drop like, their 100K, 200K, half a million, whatever, and that's like nothing to them because they'll probably get like most of it back in comps.
Yeah, look at
anyways,
Drake losing
right?
money on every UFC fight.
Right. And he literally probably by the time he types that bet in and hits place bet, he's probably made back like that money tenfold in his 300 other ventures, right? That he has. So, and hey, perfect example, Dana White, right? Like Dana White on Kick, you could watch him with Aiden Ross and with Joe Rogan gamble and lose like $600,000 in 15 minutes. But guess what? Dana White probably made that 600,000 back tenfold in the 10 other businesses that he runs with UFC and surrounding UFC and outside of it,
Yeah.
And that's why for him it doesn't matter. But for normal people, if you do not have 10 streams of income, don't go to the casino.
Right.
And to answer your original question, the reason why I brought all this up is because someone in the chat the other day asked me, hey, Silent, would you ever take a gambling contract? It's like so these gambling companies, what they'll do is
like
they'll offer you money. Yeah, like
Yep.
DraftKings or like Rain Bet, State, whatever, right? All these companies, they'll give you like X amount of money. You have to gamble for X amount of hours. And if you win, you get to keep the money. But if you lose, then you lose the money. And also, you have to push a referral link so that when your community signs up through your link, you get paid.
Yep.
And someone asked me, they're like, would you ever do that? I'm like, no. I'm like, because I don't gamble anymore. And I know how destructive gambling is. And I would not wish that destruction on my worst enemy because I've been there. I've been at the bottom of the barrel, like so addicted to gambling that I'm going to take all the money that's supposed to go to my rent and gamble with it, because I'm so down bad. And for most people, that's how you will end up. You will lose. The house always wins. Remember that. You never win in gambling. The only time you win is, like I said, when you have 10 other streams of income and it doesn't matter. That's when you're winning, right? You have to be winning outside of the casino to win inside the casino, like Dana White, like that big gentleman shark that told me that sentence about how it's rich people's playground. And the dude just casually had like $500,000 in chips, just playing blackjack and losing $500,000 and then like opening his duffel bag, bringing out another $500,000, it's like that. There's levels to this. And for most people, I really do not recommend that you gamble. But if you do gamble, you have to be extremely smart about it. And I know that like 9 out of 10 gamblers are not smart about it. And they're probably going to destroy themselves and their wallets. So I feel it is for me as someone who went through the gambling wormhole and the dark hole and the black hole. I don't want to push that on my community because I know I'll be responsible. Like, oh, if that guy that comes to my chat every day signs up, he's probably going to freaking spend all his paycheck and then some gambling because he wants to support me, because he thinks that's the right way to support me. But It's like, do I need a gambling sponsorship or contract? You
No.
could just send me money. You know, you could just
or just
like gift
promote the
subs or
things you appreciate. You know,
exactly
coffee
right. Like
with the lion's mane or whatever. You know,
exactly like a protein
then people
shake that I
trust
drink
you,
every
you push.
day. Yes, 100%. Exactly, like things I actually use. Like, oh,
Yep.
this brand of T-shirts, or like, oh, this protein bar that I have every single day, or oh, this farm wants me to promote their new free range eggs that I've been buying for the last 6 years. Things like that, you know, like, and like that's why I don't understand like the whole selling out. It's like it's so fake, and you can see right through it. Like if I told you, hey guys, come gamble and do it through my referral link, but I haven't gambled myself in like 5-6 years because I know how destructive it is. That's just so inauthentic, and it just I know I'll be responsible for somebody because all it takes is one, right? If one person just signs up to my link and just destroys their entire lives because of me, like then I'll feel responsible for it, and I do feel that responsibility because like it or not, as a content creator, you are influencing people, especially younger people. If you're an older person like me, like I'm 31, like I said, and those young 20-year-olds, they will most likely listen to you. They will see you doing it, so they will do it too. Whereas if they see me going to the gym every day, staying hydrated, like being on top of my, they probably will get motivated to replicate it too.
Right. What I really like is, there's a whole series of inquiries that we could have walked down to help us unpack the answer for, are we free if we're always online? And one of the things we didn't have a chance to address was the morality of monetizing everything. And I think Silent's point did a great job of answering and addressing all of that.
Yes.
Now, Silent, for you, I do have some follow-ups. The main thing being, what do you think? So, you just did a great response to my whole position about hustle culture versus hospitality and how go out there and get yours, find your passion. Here's the scary thing, though. I thought my passion was being an attorney, turned out to be, podcasting, this other realm. Am I right? Time will tell. Could be totally wrong and just threw my life away, as my parents would say. At the same time, though, you're looking at again, dude, numbers. If Silent's going to be talking about 9 out of the 10 people, they're not going to do it smart. They're going to destroy their whole life. They're going to throw it away. And he's talking about gambling. Very much sounds like we have picked a career to build our whole life off of. That is a gamble. 9 out of 10 of us are going to come out losers. And here's what I'm willing to take that chance, because when Joe Rogan's yelling at me through my radio as I think some comedian idiot who didn't go to college, didn't go to law school, is talking about shit way out of his caliber, and he's going, you should be doing this. I'm like, yeah, I know I should, dude. What are we talking about? He retracted that 2 years later and then never said it again. He's like, now there's way too many people doing it. You should never do it. I was there at that time where he's like, if you think you should be doing it, I'm like, well, dude, you are for sure talking to me. Well, guess what? 9 out of 10 of us are wrong. And I'm willing to put my whole life on the fact that I'm not. And there's 9 other assholes that are willing to make the same gamble, and they're gonna lose. One, Kanye and me, is that's because I'm that confident that they're the 9 and I'm not. But Silent, we're living in a very scary reality. And I got to ask you, what do you think about the Utes? We're going to be out here talking about them Utes. What do you think about the young people? It's showing, the numbers are showing that out of career paths, overwhelming majority is willing to commit their entire existence to being an influencer. What made me think about that is, what did I ask Silent to begin with? Does a streamer have a social responsibility? Immediately goes, yes, of course it does. You are influencing people, is what he said. Well, what's crazy is now, what do you want to be? Doctor, lawyer, engineer, teacher, influencer. The fact that a TikTok video jokester has taken over the overwhelming majority, whereas that career path didn't even exist when the teacher passed out the questionnaire to me and you. So you and I are willing to throw away the whole world for something that didn't even exist when we were kids. Now it exists to these kids, and they're going, oh, before I even started, why am I not even going to go to college, not going to take on that debt. I'm not even going to look for another passion. This is it. And it's not because truthfully they have a calling. Like, I think the message of the Rethink Tank is what helps me at least justify to myself that this is different. This is different. We have a goal. There is a thing we're working towards. I think other people just like, you look at it, weird interviews in the grocery store. Blah, blah. What are you really doing it for other than I just want a payday that breaks me from the chains of a 9 to 5? I sit here and say I'm trying to create a content platform that creates a space for thinkers that wish to expose themselves to a diversity of ideas and perspectives outside the censorship of modern media. I want to encourage you that find a unique perspective and promote education while providing some laughs along the way. Who else is selling a goal, a message? I just want to be paid to go taste the local restaurants in Cleveland. The amount of competing Cleveland Eats, Instagram, TikToks, whatever, because I just want to, at this point, I'm going to the restaurants anyway. If I could get a discount, to get paid to do a little video, I come out ahead. Well, that isn't a career. I've done great interviews on the podcast in the past with authors. Okay, he didn't get into the podcasting space. He's an author. And so he's built a whole foundation of authority, education in a totally different realm. And he's been able to take that and reapply it to true crime and dissecting all of these cases. And what's your thing? I'm going to walk out of high school and put the gummy plastic in my mouth and go, is it a hit or a miss? And if it pops in my mouth, and that got 100,000 views. So one, you, the audience, you're the dummy. Why are you giving them a platform to think that they should skip a whole career path for that? But also at the same time, I'm looking at the person. You think, I don't know, taking an ice cream cone top and throwing it, that you're going to make a life out of that? Like, here's what's really sad is when I find like pranksters and stuff, it's like, okay, you got one video to go viral. Now you got a following. Like, here's my thing. I built a million videos. I need one to go viral for people to go, all right, here's the community. I know what he's selling. I either like it or I don't. If you go viral pranking people, here's a guy. Guy got caught spraying wasp spray on like food at Walmart. It's like, dude, even if you go viral doing that, you're going to build a career being that guy? Like, no, you're going to have to pivot. Hey, guys. Hey, audience. I know I just got 1 million followers after being the guy that sprays wasp spray on bananas. But now I want to talk about baseball cards because that's my true calling. Well, guess what? It ain't going to pivot the way you think it is. So long dialogue, long diatribe for the true inquiry I have for you, Silent, which is, with all these young people overwhelmingly choosing that is a full-blown committed career path, do you think it's a good thing? Do we need to be worried? Should we discourage it? Or is, hey, man, that's the future. AI is going to take care of everything else, so that's the only career path for you?
I think the reason why people are choosing these career paths is because they are finally realizing that becoming a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer, you can make a lot of money, but you have a ceiling. Right? There's a cap to it. And I think a lot of people, they want to do something to where there's no cap to it because the internet the scale is infinite. Hell, there's like X amount of billions of people that don't even have internet yet. And once those guys get internet, they too could potentially be consumers of your content. And I think people are slowly starting to realize that, which is why they're choosing that path, right? Like, I still get a lot of people
season your answer then, because I was just writing it down. If doctors and lawyers are willing to take this gamble, I'm doubling down on the point that I brazed over at the beginning, which is 9 out of 10 of you are going to lose. So you just went on a very long diatribe of how this is infectious. You get a few likes, it makes you keep coming back. But could people be committing an entire career lifestyle to a gamble? It doesn't look like gambling because it isn't red or black on a roulette table. But dude, 9 out of 10 of us are gonna lose.
Yeah. And that's the reality of it too, right? It's because you have to build something that is sustainable, right? Because if you don't build something that is sustainable, you won't last either, because You want to be able to sustainably create your content that you want to create, like you said, because if you're known as the guy that's like, smashing gallon jugs in Walmart, and then you go viral and now you have 20 million people watching all of a sudden, and then you get arrested. Now what? Now you're cooked. Now you're done. You're banned from all Walmarts. Where are you going to smash jugs at? Oh, you want to go to Target? They already have your picture because Walmart blacklisted you, and now they sent that information over to the cops, and the cops send it to all the Targets and all the department stores like, hey, you see this guy going in? He's probably going to film pranks in here, so don't do it. So that's what I mean. Like, you need to pick something that's sustainable, something that's like scalable and something that you can actually perform every single day or like every single week or every single month, and something that positively contributes to society. Because at the end of the day, all the negative things that contribute to society usually are not sustainable, and they crash and burn eventually, and you become irrelevant, and no one will watch your stuff because they're going to move on to the next thing.
Dude, I love the key word you walk out of your answer with, which is sustainability.
Mm-hmm.
If you can find something that's sustainable, really you can breeze through any of these hurdles, considerations, or issues that we raised. So Silent, closing out this whole dialogue we've unpacked here, I gotta ask, are we free if we're always online?
The answer to that is no. If you're always online, you're not free. In order to be truly free, you need to disconnect yourself from the internet, really, and just live in the moment. Because it is when you live in the moment, and especially when you live in the moment where you step out of your comfort zone and do things that you don't want to do, that's usually where the great things happen.
I love that. And would I be fair to further your point with, yes, you need to get off. Are we free if we're always online? Heck no. You need to get off at some point. But would I also be fair to further that by saying, one, find that sustainable balance. If you're doing what you love, then you're okay. Or really, then there's nothing to judge here. You found your passion and you're doing it, whatever it manifests or looks like. But at some point, you need to unplug. And whether it's you're the audience member or the creator itself, this life is life, reality, water, fire, earth. At some point, you gotta touch grass.
It's true. You do. It's true.
Cool thing for Silent is he could be plugged in while you're watching him touch grass.
It's true. Yeah, that's true. That's the perks, I guess, of being a IRL streamer is you get to touch grass and you get to create content at the same time.
I love it, dude. I love it. Please, I appreciate you giving me your time. This was incredible dialogue, unpacking all these different avenues. But can you give everybody a place to find you? This is your point and your chance to plug it all.
Kick.com/SilentDestroyer live every single day. Make sure to check me out. We're hopefully going to Japan very soon, so definitely be on the lookout for that.
I love it. I love it. One thing that we're really pushing here at the Rethink Tank is our Neuro Gym. If you could go to our website and join as a member. The whole purpose of the Rethink Tank is to get you guys, the audience, involved. So one of the things that, Silent blesses us often on our Tuesday show. And when he's a part of the Pickle Gallery, it's always special. Well, a new element to the live Tuesday show is that we're going to be having a wheel of topics. So dares, topic ideas, questions. We want to get you involved. And the way to do that is to drop over into the Neuro Gym and add any segments, questions, topics you'd like to see us talk about, and put it on the forum at the Neuro Gym so we can get you as an element to the closing part of our show. But everything else being said, we've got our live show, we've got our reaction show. Our reaction show, Rethink Actions, this every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Wake up, have a cup of coffee with us, have a little break from the politics and social chaos and just have some laughs. Well, for that show, we're doing our AI episodes where I'm sure you've seen Yeti and Star Wars and all the gang. Hilarious videos. Each Sunday we're reacting and having some laughs, and that's going on over there. But if you're looking for one central place where you can find all the fun, it's at the Rethink Tank website at www.rethinktankpodcast.com. But, breaking out of the studio like a classic streamer, I had a blast having this dialogue. Silent, I got to say thank you for your time. I think we solved all the world's problems tonight, and
We did.
have a better pleasure doing it with anybody else.
We did. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
All right, guys. Well, again, we appreciate you, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.
Peace.
Hi, dude. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man. This was fun. I like this.
Yeah, dude. We got a lot more to unpack. I hope we get you on a
I know.
motorcycle and headed over to Cleveland so we can get you.
Dude, I really, really hope. But